Oh dang, I just lost a bolt. That's not good. Alright, today we're going to do something that I've been putting off for a while. But first, if everything goes right this week, I'd like to wish you guys a Merry Christmas. Because this video should be out Christmas Day. Have a happy holidays. Hope everybody has a safe and nice Christmas with their families. Here in Texas, we're going to do Christmas in t-shirts and shorts because it's Texas. And we do that often. Not desirable, but we do it. Anyway, today you can see the Nova's behind me. And we're gonna do something today that I've been putting off for a little while for a couple different reasons. But long story short, we're gonna change the fluid in the rear end because I don't think there's any more limited slip additive in it. The clutch chatters really bad if you drive it more than, I don't know, 8-9 miles or so. And it's kind of gotten worse the more and more I've driven it, so I haven't driven it in a while. I was putting it off because I had big aspirations of doing a gear change, which is something I've never done before, so I was going to have someone help me do it. But because of sick week coming up in February, I've got to divert funds to the Dakota. So this Nova's going to have to wait just a little while. But I am debating on bringing the Nova for race week this year in September. So we'll see. It's just going to kind of depend on things. Anyway, so I'm going to kind of get after it, and we're going to jack the car up and pull the pan off, and we'll go from there. Let me get after it. If you're new to the channel, you may not know too much about the Nova, but it's a 68 Nova small block super sport car. It's a real super sport car. 4-speed, doesn't have the original motor. There's a lot more about it if you look back in the videos, but the biggest thing is it's got a factory 12 bolt rear end. However, this 12 bolt rear end is has a 456 gear in it, which obviously is not the correct gear. I forgot to make a bracket for that when I did the brake lines. So it's very difficult to drive because it's just such a high gear. So I have aspirations of changing this soon. It's not the factory gear in it, but it is the factory housing. It has maybe I'll see them. Dual factory exhaust hangers. There's just a lot to this car that's really cool. Also 1 year only. So let's get to pulling this cover off, which is probably just going to be a 1/2 inch or 9/16 bolts, 1/2 inch bolts. So this shouldn't be too big of a deal. Oh dang, I just lost a bolt. That's not good. Gotta get that out. Pencil magnet for the win. Alright, so I've got all the bolts out. Real quick before I pull this cover off. Easy way to tell 12 bolt GM, especially a car. The cars are round, trucks are a little different shaped, is to count the bolts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. One of the reasons they call it a 12 bolt rear end. On the 12 bolts, especially passenger cars, they have some identifying numbers. Like for example, over here, I have, this is my date code on the rear end, which matches just about all the other parts on this car. and it's I-157. And this car was a October 1967 build according to the sheet, or the cal tag. And I is corresponding to the, let's see, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, the 9th month of the year, which would be September, right? So this is I, September 15th of 1967. So September 1967 is this we're in, which is, again, like I said, you know, that makes a lot of sense when it comes to date code wise. There are other numbers on here that tell you what the factory we're in ratio is supposed to be. I can't find them. I've looked all over this car, and I think it's just gonna have to get up on a lift one day so I can really look and be comfortable when I'm looking, and kind of look for it, or I may have to pull it around out at some point in time. Anyway, let's move on. I've got all the bolts removed, and now I've got one still in here, and that's because we're gonna separate this dude, and I don't want it to fall and bust down and hit me in the face or anything. So I'm just gonna hit a little screwdriver in between it. Ooh, oh man, does that need to be changed? Wow. Actually, it's kind of clean, but again, I don't think that there's any limited slip aid in it. But look how thick that oil is. That's super thick. Look how viscous it is. It's still got so wide of the drain over here. By the way, this stuff stinks. I think this is some really, really old gear oil, which would make sense since the car sat since 1989 until I got it running. So this is overdue. Let me try to see if I can get this off without making too much of a mess. Last bolt here. We're off, it seems like. Sweet. Man, look how thick that stuff is. Wow, I've never seen it that thick before. It's gonna take a lot of cleaning. Oh boy. This is not in slow-mo. Gross. This is some nasty stuff. Look at how thick that is. No wonder why it gets mad when I drive it a long distance. Look at the oil pan. Let me get the light on it. It still hasn't drained. Holy cow, this stuff is thick. I've never seen this before. Let's listen to that. Man, it's gonna take some cleaning, so I'm just gonna use some brake clean and go after cleaning this stuff. So, I'll throw a little picture in here because I don't think I can get the camera to it, but I was able to find the rest of the numbers on the axle tube for this car, which the suffix is BT, which means originally this car was a 355 posi car, which for 68 BT means 355 posi. So that's kind of cool. Also, the date on it is, again, October which lines up with that's the assembly date, so it just lines up with the rest of the car. So this is the rear end for this car. Right now I'm just looking at all the teeth in here, seeing if I see any damage, which I don't. It looks really good. I don't see any wear to be concerned about. And you know, this car's lived a pretty decent life, so that's awesome. I'm very happy with that. I'm not seeing anything to be concerned about. And with that said, I'm just going to go ahead and keep cleaning. I'm going to clean the surface with a wire wheel, and then I'll show you cleaning the cover and the easy way to do that. And then we'll throw this dude back together. I still have to figure out where to fill it at, which is, I don't know. I'll have to look that up. But yeah, this is awesome. So I'm feeling quite vindicated today that I found that code, because it helps validate the car even more as about being a real SS. You could get a 12 bolt in a 68 Nova and just option it that way, but not many people did. And with this car having everything else that's right on it, it just helps. Unfortunately, I don't have the paper documentation that states it. But anyway, I digress. I move on. If you don't have one of these, this is a wire wheel that goes into the drill. And if you don't have one of these and you work on these cars a decent amount of time, get one. Because I'm going to show you guys how easily it pulls off and cleans the surface for the gasket. Alright, the cover, right, nice and clean. I just cleaned it all off with some brake cleaner, but I want to clean this surface. Very easy way to do that. Alright, so I've got a nice bead of silicone, ran all the way around this thing, and I'm just kind of letting it tack up for a little bit before I throw it on. I'm not using a gasket. I don't usually on rear ends. It's just me, my personal theory behind all this is this works really good. This stuff works really, really well when both sides are clean. If you have oil in there, it's not going to seal that well. But just let this tack up for another like 5-10 minutes, and then we'll get in there and throw it on. Let's see how well I can hold on to this dude and get it in place. There we go. Wait, I don't have it lined up right, do I? I think I do. There we go. Alright. A couple bolts in here. There we go. So a couple things I ran into. This one seems to either bottom out or have a something kind of length of the bolt might be different, but I think it's because there's supposed to be a bracket right here and I don't have one, because I put this stainless steel line in and it didn't fit the right bracket. So secondly, I'm torquing them all now, and I'm not using a torque wrench. I just get them snug, and then like a 1/8 of a turn, maybe something like that, and they all feel pretty good. That one I'm gonna not tighten so much. I don't want it to strip out. It just doesn't feel great. These all feel real good. And if you noticed, when I originally did it, when I put all the bolts in, I did it in a pattern to where I did one side then the other, and then I just kind of crisscrossed all the way around to get it applied evenly. And now that part of the rear end fluid change is done. Alright, here's what we're using. Just some 80W90. Now this says limited slip on it, which I'm making the assumption that it has additive, but nowhere on here does it say it has the additive. It just says it's made for any application that needs GL5. So I'm not 100% sure this has additive or not, so we're going to double down on that. And this is the limited slip additive friction modifier. So, and this little thing says it treats up to 2 quarts. So anything over 2 quarts, you need more additive. Well, this is supposed to take 2.5 to 3 quarts. And well, I think we're going to be good if this has additive in it and this has additive in it, and yeah, we'll go from there. All right, so if it looks funny, you're looking at the side of the pumpkin here. This is the passenger side axle tube, dry shaft and whatnot here, but here is where we're gonna fill up this thing. And you can see a 9/16 wrench fits on it pretty well. Am I going to be able to get it? Oh, there it goes. And it's just a square plug. Here we go. I'm going to pull that up. And it's got a magnet on it, so you can see like metal debris and chunks, but actually it looks really good. That's hardly any. So all right, so this is where I'm going to use a pump to put in 2.5 quarts of fluid. I'll save you guys that because it's just me pumping in fluid, right? Alright, it's going to be a little too hard to get it all in there in video and show you how we're doing it, but just for reference, I'm going to use a pump like this. Screws onto the cap here, and then you're pumping into the deal. You know, cleaned it off, kind of. Probably need to clean a little bit more. And that'll wrap this up. Well, I just went for a little lunch cruise to get some pizza with my wife in the Nova, and no issues. It's a good, decent ways away to get there and back, and usually even like half the distance when I would be going slow and turning or backing up, the rear end was popping and clicking, and you could tell that the clutches were sticking in the posi unit, whatever you want to call it, limited slip unit. Anyway, that's done. So I'm happy to have it back, especially since the weather's like really nice driving weather. It needs a bath, so I'll do that. But the Nova is back in action. Now if we can try to go fix the Sonoma, we'll have them all back up again, but that's another story, another day. So again, Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope you get to enjoy your families this year, and you know, just enjoy being around who you love and doing what you do. And you know, it's been a really awesome year this year for us, and we couldn't thank you enough for watching our videos, subscribing, and commenting, and all that awesome stuff that you guys do. Just thank you so much. Please be safe, enjoy each other, love each other, and we'll see y'all next week. I probably won't do another video for a little bit so I can enjoy the holidays with my family. So hope you guys do the same, and until next time, you guys know the deal. Y'all be good.